and welcome here to TalkFCB, and welcome back to the channel, guys, where it is time for El Clásico. Barca will face Real Madrid on Sunday in a clash here that may well decide the La Liga title. And I think there's lots to analyse, really, and lots to really dive into ahead of this game. Of course, because of what happened in midweek in the Champions League, there's a real feeling here that Barca need to find a way to bounce back. And of course, Real Madrid, they have everything to play for. It is all on the line here. And coming up today, we're going to be discussing the latest team news and predictions, guys. It is on the way. Get yourselves ready. And let's do this. Because can I first of all begin by being very, very honest with you, actually? Because quite frankly, there is no way that Barca cannot be affected by what happened in midweek against Inter. It was absolutely heartbreaking for all of us fans and all of the players, all of the coaching staff to lose in that way, to be so close to a Champions League final and to miss out in the way we did. That was absolutely agonising and heartbreaking, and it does, and it will affect the players. That is why Hansi Flick, immediately after that game, immediately after extra time, the next day, all players were given a day off. They needed that not only physically, but mentally as well. And I've got to say here, even making this video for El Clásico, even here planning the video, making notes, of course, looking at what we need to discuss here, it hasn't been easy, and that's just me, making a video. I'm nobody, I'm nothing important here, and it's been difficult. It has been tough to sort of move straight on to the next game, and it's a massive one. It's a really big game, I'm not denying that, but it's been tough. So if it's tough here for us as fans, imagine the players right now. Imagine the kind of emotions they are going through to have to suddenly get back up, immediately after such an agonising loss. It's hard, and they are going to have to really gather everything that they have, really work to summon something here. And all that I would say is, try and use the anger, try and use the frustration here of ultimately feeling as though they missed the chance. They had an opportunity. We could have and maybe should have been in the Champions League final. And for whatever reason, whether it be mistakes, whether it be some unfortunate moments, whether it be refereeing decisions, whatever anger, whatever disappointment you may feel, channel that here in the right way and respond in the perfect moment. Because let's be honest, guys, it's such a hard loss to bounce back from. But if you can go and beat Real Madrid, if you can immediately respond here by ultimately wrapping up the league title, well, surely that would help us. Surely we would all feel a lot better here, even just days after the Inter loss, if we could beat Real Madrid. But of course we do have to look at it too from their perspective, from Madrid's perspective here. They have the perfect chance to really hurt us. We've been hurting midweek, we're hurting now, but they have a chance to take it even further. And they have had the entire week off here, and I don't think we should underrate that here. I don't think we should understate what that means to have an entire week of recovery time, of preparation time for this game. In the modern day, you don't get that kind of time. You do not get days ahead here of a massive game, and I guess that was the benefit of Real Madrid not being involved in the Champions League semi-final. But they will be out to get us here. They are rested, they are ready, and as a result, we have to find something. Because when you are looking at the league table, where we stand right now, we have 4 games to go in La Liga, and we lead Real Madrid at this stage by 4 points. And of course, what you've also got to take into account is we are leading on the head-to-head. We have a 4-0 advantage there from the reverse fixture, and provided we don't lose in that same manner, we will still hold that head-to-head advantage. So in the event of a tie, we would come out on top, which could also prove to be very important here in the title race. And what we also have to look at here is the run-in, because this is a very important game. But no matter what happens in El Clásico, even if the worst was to happen and we were to lose, we would still be on top of the league. So what will happen after this game? Well, Barca still have to go to Espanyol. Now, much in the same way here, that beating us this weekend would be Real Madrid's highlight. It would be one of their biggest moments of the season. Well, us going away to Espanyol, them trying to stop us winning a league title, that would be the highlight of their entire club's history. So they will certainly be out to get us there. That is not an easy game. Real Madrid hosts Mallorca. Then we play Villarreal, and Real Madrid go away to Sevilla. So both of those games there, they are potential banana skins. Villarreal right now playing some very good football. They're in real form. That will not be easy. And then we end the season away at San Mamés. Real Madrid host Real Sociedad. That won't be easy for them either, but that is a really tricky game away at Athletic, so quite clearly, it's not a foregone conclusion. I mean, if we beat Real Madrid here and go 7 points clear, that should be enough. Let's be honest here. That should be enough to wrap up the title, but anything aside from a win, we leave that door open. There's tricky games to come. It's not going to be easy. There are going to be testing moments ahead of us here, and that's why this game is key. That is why, if possible, please let us win. But of course, guys, despite the disappointment in midweek, what we cannot forget is how brilliant we've been in this fixture right throughout this season. Of course, in round 11 in La Liga, Barca winning 4-0 at the Bernabeu. Absolutely dominant victory there over Real Madrid. Then we beat them in the Super Cup final to land our first trophy of the season. There are 5 goals to do. Again, it was absolute domination. But then more recently, of course, in the Copa del Rey final, it was absolutely emphatic there. Jules Koundé's winner. What a goal it was in extra time. Unbelievable. But that was a closer game. You know, I wouldn't say there was as big of a gulf there between Barca and Real Madrid in that most recent Clásico. Real Madrid certainly found something in the second half there, and Mbappe caused us real problems. They were getting in behind more often, they were able to apply more pressure, and of course they did lead in that second half there for a brief period. So Barca know this is not going to be easy. Real Madrid are trying to give Ancelotti something maybe to go out with. He's of course going to be replaced now by Xabi Alonso. That has been confirmed here today. So the players may be trying to give him one last trophy, one last farewell, and ultimately it's down to us to make sure that doesn't happen. And of course, guys, in terms of the team news right here, well, there's a few things that we certainly have to keep an eye on. One of those that we're all thinking of right now, it's about Alejandro Balde. We want to know, can he play? Exactly the same situation as we were thinking against Inter in midweek. He could have changed the game in our favour. We weren't able to call upon him, and that was tough for us. So is he going to play against Real Madrid on Sunday? Well, he's given himself a chance at the end of the day here. He did return to group training on Thursday, of course, too late for that game in the Champions League, but could he return this Sunday? It remains to be seen whether he will or not. There does appear to be right now conflicting reports in the Catalan media. Some people believe that he'll be available, that he will make it, that he could be in the team. Others believe, though, that Barca still don't want to push it here. They're not willing to take any unnecessary risks. As we saw in the week, they didn't really want to push him for that Inter game. They may not push him here, and we will have to wait and see whether we can call upon Balde. And then, of course, there's Robert Lewandowski, who did manage to make quite an unbelievable return here in the Champions League. But was he ready to make that return? There have been plenty of rumours there in the media that maybe Lewandowski shouldn't have been involved for that final stage of the game. Maybe that he was forcing his return a little bit too quickly and therefore wasn't quite at the level we required. And that really leads us now to say, should he be involved in El Clásico from the start? He wants to be there. He wants to be there in the starting lineup. But should he replace Ferran Torres? Those are the big calls that Flick will need to make. Because in my opinion, guys, it is very possible here that we will see a similar team to the one that faced Inter there. Szczesny will keep his place in goal. There has also been plenty of scrutiny over the goalkeeping position at Barca, especially looking there to the long-term future. Eric Garcia played well, I thought, at right back there. Very easily could have walked away with 2 goals in that game against Inter. He will partner there Pau Cubarsí and Inigo Martinez, although I wouldn't be at all surprised to see Christensen. I think we should see him at some stage of this game, in my opinion. Then at left back, let's say Balde will be there. You know, if he's not, it's going to be Gerard Martin. But let's just say, please, in this game, as big as it is right here, we will need you to play. So Balde there, I'm going to go with at left back. Then we've got Frenkie and Pedri in midfield. Those two, I'm sure they're feeling it. I'm sure they are feeling physically drained right now. But we need one more big performance from them. You've got Yamal, you've got Dani Olmo, you've got Rafinha. And then, in my opinion, I think I'd play Ferran Torres, because in the Inter game, I accept there that it would have suited Lewandowski's style a lot more there. It was a very different game to what we're going to play against Real Madrid, but for me, I think Ferran suits this one more. There's going to be more space. We're going to need more movement in that forward area. And don't forget, of course, it worked very well. He played well in the Copa del Rey final very recently. So that there would be the team that ideally we could expect on Sunday, but there may still be a few late changes. But of course, guys, there is still time here for the all-important predictions ahead of this game. And I've got to say, I'm actually quite surprised to see it the way that it is. I'm enjoying the confidence here. I really appreciate that so many Barca fans still believe, okay, We can still do this though. We are down, we are hurting, we really do feel stung by what happened against Inter, but many people believing here that Barca will bounce back immediately with not just a win over Real Madrid, but a big win at that. And I am tempted here to go with a close game though. I do think it's going to be another challenge. I feel very similar to how I did against Inter. I don't think there's going to be a great deal in it. I think Barca are still struggling physically, and I'm tempted here to go maybe with a 2-2 draw. I think we will concede goals. That appears to be what we're doing lately. The defence has not been as solid as it was earlier on in the season. I think Real Madrid will score, but I would still back us to respond. And don't forget here, guys, that if it was a 2-2 draw, although we don't want to draw the game, a draw for us would be a better result, a much better result than it would be for Real Madrid. They'll be pushing to win this one. There will be opportunities. There will be spaces there that we can exploit. And that's the worst case scenario for me. I hope that we can win it, of course. I really do believe that we can, but I would expect it to be close. And I would expect it to be a really hard battle for Barca. So please do let me know, guys, in the comments down below. What are you expecting here? What lineup would you choose? Would you make any changes from the team that we saw in midweek? And do we need something to freshen up this team, maybe, to just somehow find a way to win this game? Let me know all of that down below. Let's hope we can do it. Let's hope we can wrap up the La Liga title. And I will see you guys after the big game. After, I hope that we can put some smiles back on faces. Thank you indeed, though, for tuning in, for all of your fantastic support, no matter what. But until next time, as always, Vejka, Real Barca.